All right, it's that time. Been talking about making this Suno music generator for a little bit, and now it's finally time to get it done. So we're going to go over the process. I'm going to show you what it does, and then we're going to try to build this step by step. There's quite a few steps to it. So even though there's only a few pieces in the scenario, it's the beginning part is a little involved. So first, we're going to set a variable. That variable is going to be the style of music that you want to create. It's going to be a real easy process. I've then set another one here, which is, and I'll show you that one in a moment. That's going to be our API keys so that we can connect to Suno. We're going to go to ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT is going to generate a title for us. And this is a really short prompt, but it's just going to make the title. And then we're going to go out, use the HTTP module to go to Suno. We're actually going to go to Go API, which is connecting directly to Suno. And then we're going to save everything to a Airtable database, which looks like this. And it's just going to have the style, which you saw here. It's going to have the track ID, which we're getting from the API. And that's really all you need, technically. It's just these two fields right here. These extra fields, we'll add those in later. But right now, you just need these few pieces. So in order to get started, you are going to have a Suno account, which I have one here. I'll get rid of this because you don't need it. You are also going to need a OpenAI account, and that's going to be OpenAI, not just regular ChatGPT, but actual OpenAI.com account, which will work on getting that for you. And then you're going to need a Go API account. And this is going to be the hardest part, is getting Suno to connect to your OpenAI account. So let's work through that process first. First, you're going to go to goapi.ai. You're going to get an account. Once you have your account, you're going to go into the Suno API, and there's two options in here. There's a pay per usage account, which is the PPU, and or bring your own account, basically, OpenAI account. That's the one you're going to want to use for this. If you do it this way, it then connects to Suno, and it will actually pick up all of your credits and everything that you have in here, and then all of your tracks will end up being inside of here that you create versus doing it the regular way where none of your tracks show up in here. So you're going to have that account. So get your Suno account, get your OpenAI account. And then what you have to do, this is the part that's a little bit weird. You have to bind your old account, your Suno account to this piece right here. So in order to do that, and I've got to show you a separate screen here. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to your Suno account once you're logged in. You're going to right click on the screen, hit inspect. That's going to put you in developer mode. Once you're in developer mode, you're going to see this console. You're going to click on network. Once you're in the network, you want to click fetch and then refresh your screen. That's going to give you all the session information for this account right here. You're going to click on the session. So you have to make, and there's a little bit of a tutorial, but it's just a picture. And basically it says that you have to keep all of these options open. Disable cache, fetch, XHR, network, and then you're going to see your session ID. Once you're logged in, I got to make sure I am. You'll grab the session ID, and then you'll scroll down to cookies and grab your cookie information. It'll be a long bit of text. There's a whole picture that you can actually grab in order to get it. But once you have that information, you're going to go into your Suno account, connect that, and then boom, you'll be active. You'll know that you're active because you'll actually see that you have all of your credits. So I have 1,585 credits left. And I think I started out with like 3,000. So I've done quite a few of these. Once you have that, your account is set up and then you're good to go. And then we can start the rest of the process. So Let's start this from scratch. Let's duplicate this and let's start a new scenario. And I'll just create it in the same folder here. And we're at scratch. We're at part one. So we're going to name our scenario. We're going to call this Suno Music App. And I'll just name this 03 because that's the third version of this one that I've had. All right. And I'm going to make a split screen window here so I can see both of these. All right. So we're going to reference the old one in just a few minutes, just so I can go back and forth, just in case there's a couple pieces that I miss. But the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to click on the purple icon. We're going to search for variable. We are going to set multiple variables. And let's make sure we get all the variables right. So the first variable is name is going to be music style. Music style. And this part you can just leave blank because we're going to fill that in a little bit later on. So we don't need anything else after that. We'll hit cancel. We're going to make another variable, which is set multiple variables. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to add another module in, which is going to be a set multiple variables. So we're going to type in variable. We're going to set multiple variables. This one's going to store your API information, so it's a little bit easier to put in. First, we're going to add an item. We're going to do x dash API dash key. And then we're going to do the same thing at the bottom, x dash API dash key. And that's just for your API information. We're going to add one more. We're going to call this the key. And then in here, you're going to put in your API key, your actual API key from Go API. You're going to get that by going back to Go API, clicking on My API Keys. Over here, it'll tell you to generate a token. You're going to grab that, and then that is what you're going to paste into this section here. That'll be your actual API key. And when you're done with that, you can just click OK. Boom. We'll cancel this out. Next, we're going to add a ChatGPT module. So you're going to click the icon. You're going to type in open. It's going to be OpenAI. You're going to click that. We're looking to do a chat completion. In order to do this part, you have to have your OpenAI account, not your ChatGPT account, but your OpenAI account. So in order to get that, you can click here, click on OpenAI billing page, and it'll take you in. It'll set you up on an account. I got to get some more credits. I only got 15 cents left, and I've been using this for a while. But once you get in to your OpenAI account, you're going to go to ultimately to your API keys. You're going to create a new key, and that'll be the one that you're going to use to connect your account. So we'll get out of that. Once your account is connected, you're good to go. We're going to do create a chat completion. The model that we're going to use is going to be 4.0 latest system. And then we're going to add a message. So let's see which message I used. Actually, I used mini because I was only doing a title. So let's change that up. We'll do a mini because it's a cheaper, easier one. And then you can use this whole prompt, which I will put in the description. But it's basically, it's going to say, get a generative music title for, and then we're going to use the music style from the earlier module. If you click that, you'll see music style here. So basically, whatever style of music you put in, you're going to say, hey, that's what we want. And then a little bit more information. You can pause and copy this if you want. If not, I'll paste it in the description, but we'll go ahead and copy that whole thing. And we're going to place that into our message. So we're going to do message. Our message role is going to be user, and then paste and match style. That's going to be all the information. that you need. And where it says music style, we're going to take that out and click music styles so that we can see that you can see that it's glowing there. That's the module that we're pulling from. Once you have that, you're good. Your tokens, we'll just say we'll put zero because we don't really, it doesn't matter how many tokens we use because it's so small. We're just generating a title. You're going to click OK. We are literally one module, two modules away from being finished. So now we have our set variable, which is going to give us our music style. We have our API information that we can pick up. We have our ChatGPT completion. I'm going to hit save so I don't lose anything. And now we're going to hit one more module, which is an HTTP. So HTTP, and we're going to do make a request. This one is where it gets a little bit fun. You start putting in a lot of stuff. So this is kind of cool because it covers a lot of bases of just little things that you would actually do inside of Make. So this one, let's bring up the information. You're going to first have a URL. That is the URL that you can get from Go API's documentation. In case you can't find it, just type in go API.api and then documentation. It'll come up and it'll give you all of the information you want. But for this, that's the URL we're going to put in https://api.goapi.api/v1/task. Make sure your case is all correct. It's all lowercase. This is going to be a post request because we're actually posting out to Go API to get the information. Two fields that we're going to have to put in are really important. The first one's going to be headers. Because we did this earlier, we can just go for the first part, it's going to be X API. The second one is going to be a matching key. So that is your variable to get into your API key, and this is what's storing it. So this is the key value, key value. The next one we can type in ourselves, which is going to be content dash type. QIPE case is very important, and it is application. I can't spell application slash JSON. There we go. And then we can scoot on down. We're going to do a body type of raw because we're putting in raw JSON. So we're going to select JSON. And then this part I'm going to copy. I'll read it off to you so you kind of understand what it is. Why do I have an exclamation point there? That's weird. That probably shouldn't be there. But let's see. We're going to paste and match style. You can type all this in, but we'll read it off so you know what everything does. So the first part is actually going to be the model, which is Suno. That's from the API documentation. There is a task type, which is generate music, custom, and then generate music. I use the second one, which is custom, which gives me a little bit more variables. Then it's going to be the prompt. For the prompt, we're going to click and replace that with our music style. Make instrumental. I've got it set to true because I'm only doing instrumental tracks, but if you want lyrics, just change this to false. Tags is going to actually be the kind of music that it wants. So we're going to do music style again. And then for the title, we are going to go to our ChatGPT module and pull in the result. Simple. That's going to give us the title that we're creating for the song. The next one is 3.5 module, which is their model version, and it's the most recent one. Other than that, you click OK. Boom. All of that should be good. 1, 2, 3, 4, one more module left. The final module is going to be an Airtable module so that we can save this information to the database. So I'll show you mine really quick. Let's get back here. There we go. And honestly, we only need two pieces. We need the style and the track ID. All the rest of this, you don't even need. We need style and track ID. So what we need to do is sign up for an Airtable account. Once you get an Airtable account, you'll have a workspace. My workspace, I have a couple different ones, but you'll have a workspace. You're going to come to the bottom. You're going to hit create, start from scratch, start from scratch. And we're going to call this, I'm going to call mine demo soundtrack. We'll leave the color purple because I like purple. We're going to double click here and then table name. We're going to call this not ready and click save. We're going to get rid of all of these fields because you don't need them. 2 and 3. We need the first one. We're going to double click where it says name and we're going to call this music style, which is what we were saving from earlier, music style. That's going to be a single line text. Hit save. We're going to do one more, and that's going to be the track ID. That is also going to be a single line text. And honestly, that's it. That's all you need in order to get the tracks into Airtable. Now, 1, 2, and we're good to go. We're going to go back. We're going to now add our final module for this piece, and that's going to be an Airtable module. So I have mine up here. You can just click on Airtable. We are going to create a record. In order to do this, you've got to connect to the base. So you're going to go up here, click Add. The connection type is going to be Airtable OAuth. I'm going to name mine Demo Soundtrack, which is what I called the table. Down track. Click OK. That's going to open up your Airtable OAuth piece. You're going to click Add a Base. Find your base. So mine is called Demo Soundtrack. Click Grant Access. That's going to give us access to do whatever we need to do inside of Airtable. Once that connects, you're good to go. You're going to select your base, which is called Demo Soundtrack. You're going to select a table, which is called Not Ready, and it's going to populate with the fields that we had from earlier, which is our music style and our track ID. So now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and click OK. And then we're going to save our progress so we don't lose anything. I'm going to auto align these, and then we're going to unlink our Airtable database for a second. So we're going to right click here. We're going to click unlink. That's just going to leave it out because we need to run this so we can get all the information. We've got all information from these, but we need to get it to actually make a request. So we're going to go ahead and click run once. And if you do that, everything works, you should get bubbles. 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. First one's going to have our music style, which we put in earlier. This one's going to have our API keys. We're going to stay away from that one. Then we're going to have our ChatGPT module, which ran. And that will give us, if we look under choices, usage, message, content, it gave us our name for our song, which is Echoes in Pastel Hues. But it's also inside of the result. So that's what we're going to put in. We're going to go to our HTTP module. And if we look, we'll see there's all the data. And what we want to do is make sure that we've got our result in there. If we go back to our Suno account, and I'll have to, you will have 2 new tracks, hopefully, that are processing, which is what we want. We want to actually get tracks out of Suno. So those they're actually running over there, which is great. And we now have information that we can actually put into our Airtable module. So we're going to reconnect our Airtable module. We're going to open it up. We're going to put in music style, which is we're going to grab the music style from here. And then under track ID, we've got to go into our HTTP module. We've got to look at the data. Our data isn't parsed. Here's a good one. So let's go back, click OK, click OK one more time, and we got to look at our HTTP module. We did all the right steps, but at the very bottom, we did not choose parse JSON response. So if you don't do that, here's what you end up getting. You get all the data in a just a mess. I mean, it's there, but it's hard for you to use this way. So what we've got to do is actually click our HTTP module, go all the way to the bottom, and make sure that we parse it out so that we can see it in variables that look like this instead of a pile of garbage. So let's unlink our Airtable database, and we're going to run the whole process one more time. Boom, 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 boom. And now what we end up with is our data, but now we have it under output, and all the information that you could want is going to be here. All right, so now that we have that, what we can do is reconnect our Airtable database, and we're going to put in a couple things. So we're going to put in music style in the first one. In the second one, we're going to go to our HTTP module. We're going to click on data, and from the data, we want the task ID. That's what's going to give you the songs. You don't have to do anything else. Smart links you don't have to worry about. Click OK. We're going to save it. And if we save it all and we run it, we should go through all the steps, go over to our Airtable database, and boom, you will have the task ID or the track ID for your song. We'll get rid of all of these because there's nothing in there. And now you actually have a song. If you go back to your Suno account, you'll actually see that you have two songs that are generating. We'll refresh our library, and you'll see new tracks being generated. That's it. The one thing to know is that in the next video we'll do is how to actually get the tracks if you wanted to download them to Airtable. But for now, they're going to show up in here. It does take about 2 or 3 minutes for each of the songs to show up, but these are the ones that we created a few minutes ago, and these are the ones we just did. So, and that's it. That is the whole piece. If you have any questions, please, please, please leave me a comment. Uh, I love doing this stuff. I don't necessarily like making videos, but this part I think everybody, at least in the group, will enjoy. And it's a pretty easy module to get into to kind of learn in some steps inside of make.com. As a little side note for the rest of it, so I can kind of show you what the end result of this whole thing is actually going to be, is it pulls all these songs in. We go to our Airtable database, and you'll actually see what we did is we have a whole piece called soundtracks. That's going to be all the songs that we generated. All of these songs were generated using the model that I just showed you. And we then created a database so you can actually sort through it. And that's really it. So once again, if you have any questions, just leave me a comment. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Uh, Good luck.